iPhone 14 Pro Max, Apple's latest and finest flagship, and a super high-end Xiaomi 13 Pro, one of their highest-end phones to date, face off in a speed test today. Let's see which one comes out on top in this episode. So let's go ahead and begin with a boot up test here of both devices in 3, 2, go, and see which one can get there first. Now, the iPhone does feature Apple's A16 Bionic chipset, and we do have 6 gigabytes of RAM. On the right, the Xiaomi 13 Pro, Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. This is the global model. We do have 12 gigabytes of RAM on board here, so a very high-end device. And iOS boots up faster than the MIUI over here, 14. So definitely these two phones right here boot up pretty similarly, but the Xiaomi was behind. But it seemed a little bit faster than the Samsung Galaxy S23 was by comparison to boot up. Now, when it comes to biometrics and unlocking these phones, we do have on iOS the Face ID here for the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And as always, it is butter. You can also just bring it up like so, and it will turn on with raise to wake. Now over here, we do have the Xiaomi 13 Pro in-display fingerprint sensor. This is very fast as well and very smooth operations day to day. Once you know where it's at, just like a Samsung device, you know, this thing will go ahead and get right in very easily. Now, when it comes to the software here, you are going to be seeing something different today. We're using the Xiaomi phone, so this is going to be MIUI 14. So when it comes to software here, we are looking at MIUI 14.0.19. This is the global edition versus iOS 16.4.1. I gotta say, these softwares, they're very different, but also very similar in that the icons look pretty similar. The animations look pretty similar. Even the control center in this area up here, they look super similar. So these phones kind of feel very similar. But when it comes to general performance day to day, I gotta say both of them nail it. The Xiaomi 13 Pro with its 120 Hertz, Apple with its ProMotion 120 Hertz, both of them are buttery smooth in day-to-day performance. And either way you go, you're getting a very smooth experience. I actually feel like the MIUI feels a little smoother than One UI on Samsung, which is saying something. It's a pretty darn smooth experience over here on the right as well. And we already know, I'm benchmarking it against Apple, so we already know Apple is pretty much the king there in smooth. So definitely very competitive here in just general user interface performance. All right, guys, so how are they gonna do when it comes to the application speed? So let's go into calendar here, and you could see Apple definitely won that one. Let's get up out of there. Let's go into calculator. You could see, it looks like Apple might have had that as well. Let's go into weather here for both devices. Xiaomi with that win. And there comes the iPhone. There it comes. Let's go into clock here on both devices. You could see pretty similar, but look at the animations for the Xiaomi. It's very good. Again, benchmarking against Apple, we already know they're good, but look at that. It looks almost the same. I think that was Xiaomi. And both of them very smooth to scroll through. It's like the same exact experience when you are just scrolling through some stuff. I will say that I did notice a little bit of choppiness when fast scrolling through the Play Store yesterday when I was pre-testing, because I don't know if you know this, but I pre-test the speed before I go ahead and make these videos. I do a pre-run before we get into final production here. But I honestly noticed scrolling in Play Store, which was faster, there's a little bit of it's like a little jitter when it goes through. I don't know if you see it right there. It's just a little bit of a jitter, whereas iOS definitely smoother there. Let's go into the applications, and you could see pretty good there. So I think that, you know, even though a lot of these Android phones, that's faster, they're faster than the iPhone to load things, they're still not all around always smoother across the platform. So consistency, they can still work a little bit on consistency. It's a little bit harder with the open source platform of Android, but definitely, you can see right there, that's the right. Definitely they've been feeling faster than the latest iPhones. You've seen right there, Twitter to the right. But see, it's user experience. And honestly, the iPhone still has a more, I think like when it comes to the applications, when you're actually using them day to day, I feel like it has a more consistently smooth experience. So apps are developed really well is what I'm talking about. Even if the apps work fine on Android, sometimes they don't feel quite as smooth as they do on the iPhone. All right, so let's hop over here into Amazon on both, and you'll see pretty much the same. But I gotta say, I'm very happy with the performance here on the Xiaomi 13 Pro. It definitely feels faster in a lot of areas than the iPhone, and it feels about as smooth with the animations and stuff like that. The iPhone wins there, said shut up, Nick. But honestly, it does feel quite smooth. Ooh, that was very choppy for the iPhone. See, the iPhone's not always perfect though. Pretty close there. There is instances where it's not perfect either. But definitely, you could see the Xiaomi first there on the right. Set up out of here. We'll go into Dead Trigger 2. Here's the thing. What I was talking about earlier was just, it's that I feel like the applications are not always developed for, specific Android phones. So this one might perform a little bit different than an S23 Ultra, and the S23 Ultra might perform a little bit different than the, the OnePlus 11, but the Nothing phone might perform a little bit different as well. And it's down the chip and CPU, but also the applications feel different on pretty much all of them, whereas on the iPhone, they all pretty much feel the same. So that's just something I noticed, with the difference with the Android phones and the iPhones is that the iPhones have more consistency. So we're just gonna, I'm not 14. We're just gonna put a random age here. I'm also not 35, but I'm just putting something random here just to get into this game. So you can see right here, both of them can load Asphalt just fine. We'll go into Temple Run. I don't know what that was right there. That was kind of weird. It's got the game turbo working over here. And by the way, I didn't turn on the extra performance mode on the Xiaomi. I know I could, but I'm not going to because most people probably won't even turn that on unless they absolutely need it on. So I'm not going to turn that on. But I gotta say, man, look at the options we have today. This is a beautiful smartphone, as is this one, but I mean, come on. And then we got the Leica camera on the rear. I mean, this is awesome. The options we have today, it's absolutely insane. Like we had like one really good phone before, and then we had a couple of them maybe, but like now we have like 25,000 choices of amazing phones. It's pretty cool. Let's head up out of here and we'll go to KineMaster, and I might have said that wrong. I don't know if it's KineMaster or KineMaster. Let me know what you think it is. But that one loaded an ad. Let me actually do that one more time, the KineMaster. And yeah, it's going to load that again. So looks like we get an ad pretty much every time. So that one's harder to test. But overall, I got to say, if you looked at the applications as we went through, Xiaomi, just like, the Samsung, won it out in most of these daily applications. It was faster. But the iPhone in actual usage of these applications sometimes feels smoother. It's pretty darn close. I don't think either way, it's going to sway you one way or the other based on how fast each one can load up these platforms. But something like the cameras might sway you, or something like the software might sway you in one direction or the other. Now let's go ahead and go back through these applications to see if they have any stutters. I gotta say, this Xiaomi 13 Pro has been one of the smoothest looking Android phones I've ever tested when it comes to going back through the applications. It reminds me exactly of the iPhone right there. Let's go into Dead Trigger 2. Just take a look at how smooth the operations are when going back. It looks identical, and it actually feels that way as too. It's got that feel that you want. So let's go to Groupon. Let's go to Twitter. And yes, I'm very well aware that in the US, Xiaomi is nothing in terms of, having fan base, but I am well aware of that in other countries, they're very big time. I'm not oblivious to that fact. I know that they're big time, and I'm not trying to downplay them. I just still think the iPhone is smoother in certain areas, but they've come a long way with this device right here, and it's really darn smooth. It almost matches up perfectly, honestly, in day to day. It's incredible. The choices we have today. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and do a quick internet test. We're just going to go to a couple of websites here. We'll go to apple.com to begin. 3, 2, go. See what we're rocking out with here. And that one's going to go to Apple. We'll go to learn more for the iPhone 14 Pro. And that one's going to Apple as well. So let's go to Xiaomi's website as well. So we'll go to Xiaomi.com and 3, 2, go. See which one can get there first. And it goes to me on the right, of course. So each platform loaded it up. By the way, this scooter is pretty dope. I've actually rid one of these. It's pretty dope. But honestly, you know, this one went to the right. Honestly, an actual usage, I don't know why you can't pinch on this one, but you can pinch on this one. It's probably Safari versus a Chrome thing. But honestly, both of these are going to just give you fantastic internet performance. They both do have 5G on board. I don't know why, but the iPhone looks a little wider. I'm not sure if it exactly is, but looks slightly wider, the display. Overall, though, pretty amazing performance on both in the internet test. Oh my, look at these scores on the iPhone 14 Pro Max, 2506 on single and 4141 on the multi-core. Take a look at the Xiaomi 13 Pro scores. Not even close, honestly, but I'm not surprised. Android phones don't really benchmark in Geekbench that high. But how will they do in the extreme test? I gotta say it. That score on the iPhone is near computer. Actually, it is at laptop level performance. Someone in my recent video had said the Apple A series chip is like a caged beast. It's got so much power, but it's locked in this cage where you can't really take advantage of it. They're referring to the software, the features. It's just got all this power that's not really being used. It's just locked away within the ecosystem of Apple. Do you agree with this statement or not? I think it was an interesting comment. The iPhone, I feel like you can take advantage of it with just day-to-day tasks. Like if you're, doing a lot of stuff, at work, you can definitely feel that performance. But other than that, do you really see Apple taking advantage of their A series monster chips? Let us know down below in the comments. And Apple takes the win here in wildlife as well. 3347 on the overall score. Then over here, 2967 for the Xiaomi 13 Pro, 17.8 on the frame rate. And then we have 20 FPS on the frame rate. Now scrolling down, we will find that the iPhone 14 Pro Max scores better than 48% of other models. And you could see 82% better than all other devices. So I wonder what those other 18% are. And this is 76%. So a little bit behind the 14 Pro Max. And overall, I can say that the iPhone 14 Pro Max does feel a little bit faster in day-to-day use. However, this is an amazing effort by the Xiaomi, line here, the Xiaomi 13 Pro. And with these Leica cameras, they are fantastic. They shoot amazing photos that can make pretty much anybody a pro photographer. It's a 1-inch sensor on here, Leica Vibrant, authentic, and a little bit of performance loss compared to the top of the line iPhone 14 Pro Max is not going to be the deciding factor. But I just wanted to see how it performed next to it because I felt like when I was using it, it felt just as smooth. But this test shows that it's not quite that A series quick, but it's still very good. So let me know, which one would you pick here down below in the comments section of this video? Would it be the iPhone 14 Pro Max or the Xiaomi 13 Pro? Let me know which other speed tests you want to see going forward. I'll catch you all in the next episode, and peace.